everybody. Welcome to the Choir Directors Academy. I am your host, Angela Elaine. Happy Wednesday. It's 7:30, and guess what time it is? TCDA time. Listen, thank you all for joining me on tonight. Listen, like and share this video. YouTube, thank you so very much for all that you do. Facebook, thank you for all that you do. I'm glad to be here. It's a wonderful day. It was been a long day, but it's a wonderful day, a good day to be alive. We're thankful for all of the blessings that we have received on today and the ones that we're going to receive on tomorrow. We're always looking forward. Even if Jesus come back and the rapture comes, it's still a great day. It's an even a better day, actually. But I thank God for each of you that are joining me on tonight. We're going to talk about vision for your 2024 year. And, you know, a lot of times everybody makes all of these New Year's resolutions. I'm not really into that. I just have in my mind what I'm going to do. I pray about it. And then I set my mind to do it. And you have to plan, you know, of course, always planning. You know, I think I mentioned it last week. There is a slogan that says, it's not that we plan to fail, we fail to plan. You should always have a goal or a vision for yourself, you know, and don't get discouraged if it doesn't happen the way you think it should happen or when it should happen. But just always have something that you want to do, a goal that you set. Some people pick traveling. Some people have school. Some people pick things that they want in life, to get married, have children, you know, purchase property, home, land, whatever. You should always have a vision. You don't want to go through life aimlessly. A lot of people do that. They just, whatever happens is what happens. You know, that's okay sometime when you're on vacation, because even on vacation, my sister, when we have our family trip, she makes sure every day we got something to do. You know, vacation, I'm kind of like, whatever, I just roll with whatever's going on. But in my everyday life, I make sure that I have something planning to do, that I plan to do. And, you know, it's one of those things that you actually need one. You think about over there in Habakkuk 2:2, I think about that verse that says, write the vision, make it plain upon the tables, that he may run that readeth it. And most of the time we apply that to just church in general, but it actually applies to every area of your life. And as you are managing, as we talked about last week, that you are managing a department. Hey, Scylla. That you are managing the department, you need to have a vision. And there's another verse that I saw in the Bible, is a Proverbs 29:18, the A portion. It says, where there is no vision, the people perish. You don't want to have your music department at the point where you just, all we doing is just getting up, singing a song, and that's it. Nothing, no growth, no type of, you know, we're just doing this thing. You don't want that to be, especially if you want your department to, you want music is an enjoyable art, and you want it to be fun and enjoyable for the people. Since you got to do it, you're doing it anyway, volunteer, or even if you blessed to get a stipend, you still want it to be enjoyable. You can get a stipend and not enjoy what you're doing. So you want your department to be enjoyable. You want to invite volunteerism. You want to invite ideas and things of that nature. Remember, when you are the leader of that department, there's no need for you to be intimidated. You know, actually, the better leader is the one that provides guidelines for everybody to go on, but then also allows the people to grow and to share ideas as well. You know, you don't want to take the approach, well, I'm the only one with the idea. You need to lead. Now, let me tell you that. You're managing that department, you're the lead. You need to be in charge. You need to set goals. You need to be there. You can't just tell people what to do. You have to show them, right? So it has to be innate in you. So my first point that I want to bring up is, whose vision is it? Did God give you the vision? Did you see somebody on TV, YouTube, TikTok, wherever, you know, basically, who inspired you? Is this something that you just is innate? If it's innate, it's God-given. But is it just something that you desire to do? You understand what I'm saying? You don't want it. Where you get it from? Because that has a big impact. If you do something because somebody else is doing it, then chances are you won't fulfill it. Let me just keep it real. You won't fulfill it. But if God gave it to you, you know, you're going to fulfill it. Even if, like myself, I went through a traumatic, year, most of you know. So I still have the passion for what God gave me, this TCDA. But I took a break from it because I had to go back, calibrate, get myself together, and then come back. Let the Lord heal me to a point where I'm able to do the job, right? So you have to, first of all, determine whether God giving me this, or did I just come up with this because somebody else did it, or whatever. You want to make sure that God has inspired you to do it. And if he does, you're going to do it, and you're going to have passion, because, and the reason I say it needs to be God-given, because you need passion with it. When you're directing the choir, whatever you're doing, really, but this is just choir directors, but whatever you're doing, you need to have passion with it. That's what connects with other people. If you're just directing and you like doing that, you're not going to reach anybody. But when you're into it and you're singing, and it's not so much what you're doing with your hands. A lot of people always ask me, well, how do I give the signals, or what? It's not in the signals. It's in your spirit. It's your passion for what you do, right? So that's what you want. You want to make sure that, first of all, God gave it to you, right, to do. And then you want to make sure that you have the passion that's necessary to do it. And then secondly, you want to think about, how would it be implemented? I mean, you have a vision, you write it, vision board, mission statement, vision statement. You got, it sounds great, but guess what? You got to implement it. And it's a lot that you have to think about when you are trying to achieve that vision, especially with people who are volunteers or people who may not be as gifted as you, right? They may not understand it to the level that you are. You have to be able to convey that message to them. One thing my father always taught me was that he always taught me, my mom said, be the task greatest of all, do it well and not at all. But my father always said to plan and think about it, and figure out how you're going to do it. Take the time to organize and understand. Hey, Stefan, good to see you. He said, is it wrong to do something if God didn't give you the assignment? Personally, from my point of view, I think so, for me, and from what I've seen other people do, because sometimes you see people do things, they don't exactly have the right spirit. That's where I'm coming from. When God gives you something, he develops you. Like he did Moses, he took him on the backside of the mountain, right, for 40 years. And then when he came before when he was in front of Pharaoh, he was all pomp and circumstance, hey. But then God had to take him around the back way, get all of that out of him, then present him as God's man, right? And sometimes when we do things, like I was saying, that people do an assignment, or they may open up a church, or they may preach, or they may do whatever because somebody else is doing it. And what you have to realize, if you do that, it's going to go well for that person because that's what God assigned them to do. That's not what he gave you. You just took it upon yourself. You hear that slogan sometimes. Some were sent and some went. Some were called, some sent, and some went. You don't want to be went. You want to be sent. What Scylla says, like Cushai, who had the message, but the other one ran with no message. Exactly. You just running. You don't want to do that. You want to be in God's will. So from what I've seen, and even in my own mistakes, it's better to do it. If God didn't give it to you to do it, it's best to leave it alone. And then flip side of that is, and maybe at a later date, he may give it to you, right? It doesn't mean that all hope is lost. But he may, at a later date, after he send you through the training, he'll give you to go and maybe do that assignment or some variation of it, right? Because if he gives you the vision, he's going to give you provision, right? He's going to make a way for you to do that assignment. And I hope that answered your question. But how would it be implemented? What steps are you going to take? Have you talked to somebody? Do you have a mentor? Do your pastor or whoever you admire? Have you talked to them to try to, you're welcome. Have you talked to them to try to get some information, right? You don't want to just do something and then just all willy-nilly, because nobody's going to follow somebody. First of all, as a leader, I can tell you this, nobody's going to follow you unless they trust you. First of all, you got to have something going on about yourself. They need to see that you're confident. They need to see that you're actively working in that arena in some shape, form, or fashion to show that you understand whatever it is that you're talking about, right? Because, no matter how much I tell you, I can direct, I can teach, I can play the organ, I can play the drums, I can do whatever I can do, right? No matter how much I tell you that, you say, okay, but you want to see proof of it, right? You're going to want to see me do this. And the same thing with people following you. They want to see something because that's how they develop trust in you. Oh, okay, you do know how to do that. Oh, you do know how to speak. You do know how to preach. You do know how to do this or that. That gives them confidence in you. And I know to some people, it may seem like, man, I didn't think it was all that in choir directing. But if you want to be good at it, he says, study to show yourself approved. Right? And you're not doing it so much for the name, for the attention. I don't direct for the attention. I may get it, but that's not my goal. Actually, when I'm directing the choir, I don't care whose choir it is, because sometimes people call me and tell me, come direct the choir, and I do that, right? When I'm directing, my mind is not on the audience at all. I could care less who's sitting out there. I'm not looking at the preachers. I'm not looking at anybody. My mind is on the Lord. In my mind, I know I got this aggregation of people. I have the musicians. And in my mind, I'm at the throne of God, and God has given me this opportunity to show him what I did with his gift that he gave me. That's how I look at it. So when I'm directing whatever I'm doing, sometimes I shout, whatever. I'm not even looking at the choir to try to impress them at all. I just want to make sure I give you the signal so you know where I'm going. And I make sure I'm in sync with the Holy Ghost. And so I'm able to give the musicians their cue way before time. And then I'm talking to the choir, and then I'm doing all of these different things are working in motion. Because my desire is to please God and make him proud, right? And that's what all of us should be doing, trying to make God proud. So how would it be implemented? Have you thought about that? Do you need to go to school? Do you need training? Do you need a class? Do you need a workshop? What are you going to do? What steps are you going to take in order to do that? But first thing I would suggest is you need to identify your strengths and your weaknesses. I know that sounds like an interview question, but it's true. You really need to look at yourself, not subjectively, objectively. Be truthful with yourself. The Bible tells us to examine ourselves. You really can look at yourself and be truthful. You toot up. You got an attitude sometimes. You toot up, you snappy, you snippy, you know that. Just be honest with yourself. Think about your strengths, and then think about areas in which you need to improve. And we know that everybody needs to improve in something. No matter how good we are, we all need to improve on something. So that's something you need to think about. What am I strong at? Where am I weak at? And then how do I address it? What do I need to do to improve in that area? Who do I need to talk to? Who do I need to hang around? Because everyone that you have to be careful who you hang around. Because if they come up with ideas, but they don't implement them, they just sit back and let them all go by the way of the dinosaurs. Guess what? You're going to do the same thing. Everybody, you're a product of your environment. If you're around, I always tell the young people, be around people who are nerds, who are learning, and who are doing something, right? Because you're going to learn and you're going to do something. But if you hang around the folks that's always, cooling and all this kind of stuff, you're not going anywhere because they're not going anywhere. You're a product of your environment. If you want to do something and be someone not in a proud way, but accomplish things in life, then you need to make your way to be around people who are accomplishing. But you need to identify your strengths and your weaknesses. Then you have to think about your timeline. How long is this going to take me? Short term versus long term. If you're thinking in terms of the choir, teaching vocals, you may have a lot of people in the choir that are not strong vocally. And that's possible because a lot of our church choirs are made up of people who just want to sing. They don't necessarily have the gift. They haven't been, trained in a school choir, or they don't have a vocal coach or something like that. So you need to teach them how to do whatever. You need to understand, because some people try to teach people how to sing in less than 6 months. It doesn't work that way, especially if the person hasn't been trained and they don't necessarily have an ear. It's going to take a minute. I'm here to tell you, it's going to take a minute for you to get everybody trained to where all you have to do is give them a song and say, you study the song, and when we come to rehearsal, it's over. We just go over the song and that's it. It takes a minute. It takes a minute. So you have to think about it. How long is it going to take me to teach them vocals versus uniform? I mean, that's nothing. That's a short-term goal. Well, I want to get the choir to the point where they wear uniforms and they dress like this and da-da-da-da. That's short-term. But long-term, teaching people how to sing properly, sitting up straight, neck, chest, your chin, even with your lap. I mean, that takes time, because half the people, when they're in the choir rehearsal, they slump and they do all kinds of different things. That's a timeline thing. You need to think about, how long is it going to take me to do that? I mean, it's so many different things. But that was just something quick. So everything that you think about, you need to figure out, how long is this going to take me? Everything can't be done in 24 hours. Rome wasn't built in a day. Your life, think about your life. It wasn't built in a day. However old you are, wherever you are at this point in time, it wasn't easy. You had to work at it, and it didn't happen overnight. Same thing when you're developing a choir. It's not going to happen overnight. Even if you have a bunch of people like me singing with you, where they're already astute, the musicians, and whatever else. I understand, the Nashville method and all these different terminologies, the different scales and all of the modes and all of that. I may understand that. But even then, trying to pull all of us together, it may be a little easier than somebody with a group of people who do not know anything. But you still got to work at it. All of us have to become one, even though we may understand. Trust me, getting choir directors to work together and sing together is not as easy as it looks, because each of us are leaders. And you would say, okay, all of us are leaders. It should be easy. Not necessarily, because you're dealing with egos. Everybody's not egos. That's all I can say. Hey, Matthew, it's good to see you. Hey, Stephen Fluker here. Good to see you. Hey, Tommy. Egos. Everybody is not laid back, right? So you're dealing with all of these, you're dealing with people that just like, I got to have the center stage. And then you got those that's just like, I just want to sing in the background. I don't want to do anything. And then you got the folks in between. So it doesn't matter the crowd that you're working with. People are people. You need to understand that. So that's why you need to have a timeline. How long do I think is going to talk? And then you need to talk to somebody who's versed at it. I'm not talking about somebody that just getting up this, doing all of this. Okay, I'm talking somebody that's tenured, that has produced, and you've seen their works, not necessarily winning competitions. I mean, I have, but I mean, you see their own choir, you see what they've done. So then that person you need to kind of team with and say, okay, help me set up my timeline. How long did it take you? What were your experiences? What would you recommend? Right. And if you have somebody like that you can talk to, and I know a lot of you write to me and I respond back to you and kind of give you ideas of what to look for. You need to think about that. Okay. Because everything can't happen fast, because then you frustrate the people. You get frustrated, and then you frustrate the people when you're trying to move them too fast. You can't move them too slow nor too fast. You have to be right on time. And then think about your staff. You have to, okay. You have a lot of people that believe what that one song said, I believe I can fly. You got a lot of people that believe they can sing. And you have to be the one to tell them gracefully. Maybe not. Right. So you have, and they want, and God help, sometimes it's the ones that cannot hold the tune as beautifully, let me put it that way, as others. And they're the most faithful people. They show up when nobody, you sit there like, I can't put them by the mic, but they're faithful. Right. So, but you know that you cannot A, put them by the mic, B, you can't let them lead a song. So you need to learn the skill sets of the people that you with. There are some people, choir directors on your staff. I didn't say you, Scylla. I didn't say you. Why are you starting things? That's my sister, y'all. She just, she's a, you know what? She's a stubborn one. She's very talented. Everybody think I'm not the only one in the family that's talented. She can do just about everything that I can do, but she sit back. I know you playing. She sit back and act like she can't do nothing until I force her out there. Okay, so don't let her fool you. But you have to determine the skill set. Everybody that directs the choir cannot direct every song. You know, you have your directors that are good at directing slow songs, and some are good at fast, and then some are in between. They have to do a medium speed song. What is it, about a 120? And then you got those that can do the fast ones, you know, the 150s, the 160s, the 170s. And then you got those that can't do that. They have to have a slow song. You can't do that. I love Jesus, real slow. You know, so you have to understand, because the wrong thing you can do is give a director that can only do fast, give them a slow song. You just messed them up. Hey, Larry. Hey, how you doing? Thank you. You'll mess them up. So you have to learn the skill sets of everybody that's on your team. Those that you can let them sing by the mic. Those you need to move them way away. You know, they may look good, but they may have to be way away. So you need to know what everyone is capable of doing. Even with musicians, we should be able to play any song, any key, but I have found that's not necessarily the case. Even if they do know how to do it all, they still prefer, every musician has their preference. And I try to put everybody in their best area. I try not to push you. If I see you have potential and you just, you know, like a lazy soprano, I may put you with the sopranos anyway. I'm not going to let you go to the alto section, right? You just lazy. You just need to do your job. So I'll put you with the soprano and kind of push you to do your job. But if I take in consideration who they are, the skill set, what they're willing to do, you know, you have some people that are extremely nervous. In a smaller crowd, they can direct and they can do whatever, right? But when you get in a large crowd, they freeze. Well, don't stick them up if the presiding bishop is your special guest. You have to know what to do with people. I've seen people do that. They put the wrong person up and you think. So you need to know the skill sets of everybody in there. Don't try to bite off more than you can chew. Understand, it's better to stick with simple than complex. Sometimes we try to teach our choir songs that are too complex for their skills. And then that helps sends you into a level of frustration because, you know, they can't get it. Well, did you ever think that maybe the song was too high? Maybe you need to stick, maybe, you know, and I love Timothy Wright songs because they're very quick and easy. Maybe you need to come down from Richard Smallwood to Timothy Wright until they develop that confidence and that desire to study to show themselves approved. And then you can elevate back up that way. All right. So take that into consideration. Know the staff and what they are capable of doing. And my last point, determination. You must have determination in order to execute that vision. And let me say this. Be careful who you share your vision with. You can't tell everybody what you're doing. I don't care who they are. It could be cousins. It could be whoever. You cannot tell everybody what your plans are. Hey, Bernard, good to see you. You can't. I'm sorry. There are dream killers in the land. Let me say that again. There are dream killers in the land. It's best, I know, unless you can really trust them, because everybody is not happy with what, you know, everybody's not happy. So what you have to do is pick and choose who you tell, because they can say one word and all your dreams, everything that you plan is just gone. You're not motivated to do anything. And God is sitting there pushing you, do this. But you tell the wrong person and you don't have the, if God said you can do it, what the Bible say, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. If he gave you the vision, then you can do it. It may take years to come to fruition, but you can do it. Start preparing yourself. But you got to be determined. Don't tell anybody. Just be careful. I don't want to say don't tell anybody. Let me take that back. But be careful who you tell. All right? Just be careful who you tell. And don't let your circumstances stop you from pursuing what you should be doing. Right? Even though I went through some things, it didn't stop me. In the back of my mind, I was always thinking about the academy. Always thinking about the academy and what I can do and trying to, get the videos and everything set up and whatever. I was always thinking about that, but I had to let God go through the process of healing before I can return to do what I'm doing now. So don't let it just influence you to the point that you don't do it, right? Because each of us that was born in this earth, we always quote that scripture, before I formed in Jeremiah, before I formed thee in the womb, I knew thee. Do we really believe that? Do we believe that? Or is that just a colloquial saying that we took from the Bible? Do we really believe that he knew us and he placed something important in us to cultivate it and to be shared? Think about the story about the talents, right? Each of them was given a talent. God knows what you can handle. So he's given you a talent to use for his glory and for the benefit of man. Honestly. So it's your job to cultivate it, be determined to do what you have to do, study. If you got to go to school, workshops, whatever you need to do, study on your own, YouTube University, whatever you need to do, learn and grow. Always, there should be always something that you learn every day. My dad always told me that. Learn something, a new word, a new script. I mean, something, a new scripture, a new song, something. Learn something that keeps your mind active. And when you do that, ideas will keep coming. They'll keep flowing. And you wonder why some people are just creative. They just come up with something out of what we say, coming up with something out of nowhere. That's not necessarily coming up out of nowhere. God gave it to them, but they cultivate their minds. They're always thinking and learning and looking for something that can be beneficial to them or to somebody else. So you always want to do that. Be determined, no matter what, no matter how long it takes. Be determined to excel in that area. I am determined that what God has given to me, I'm going to develop it and I'm going to be all that I can be for him. And he's going to get the glory out of this. I always tell God, I say, you get all the glory, the honor, and the praise. I just want the blessings. I don't need all of that. Bernard, glad to see you back. Thank you, Bernard. I appreciate it. Thank you so very much. I'm glad to be back, but I'm glad to see me back. But you want to be determined and you don't want to quit. Quitters never win. Winners never quit. I know this sounds corny, but it's really true. Doesn't matter how long it takes. Just don't quit. Just don't quit. You can't afford to quit. You can't afford to do that. It's too much. You have too much in you that can be used to benefit people. We need the good people that's got stuff in them to stand up and show what you got. The other folks that are not doing so good that, I don't want to call them bad people or whatever, but they're not doing what they should be doing. They bold with theirs. Why are we who have that good in us that needs to come out? Why are we so shy? I don't get it. Why are we so shy and don't want anybody to know? Why? What you got, you may think what you have is insignificant, but it's not. I can sit back and say, this platform here, well, nobody wants to hear. No, it's not helping anybody. I don't know that. That's not my job. My job is to do what God has instructed me to do. I don't know who I'm helping. And you know what? I'm not really concerned as in name of the person that I'm helping, but I'm just glad to know that I'm inspiring anybody or somebody to do what is in them to do. And you think that little idea that he gave you while you sleep, you wake up and it's an idea. Cultivate it. Get it. Research it. Cultivate it. Pray over it. Work the plan. Work it. And I promise you would be happy and thankful that you did. Okay? Guess what? That's all I got. That's all I got for you. I hope I said something to help you on tonight. Listen, like and share this video, but keep your vision. Put it on the wall. I know some people do a vision board. Whatever you need to do, put it in your phone, put it on your wall in front of your desk where you always see it. When, you know, those of us who, you know, work on the computers all day or whatever, put it there so you can see it. Keep it in the forefront of your mind and ask God to help you to develop it and to cultivate it and to do it the way that he wants you to do it so that he gets the glory, honor, and the praise. Thank you all so very much for being here with me on tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you, and we will be back next week. I got another good topic for you. We will be back next week. Thank you, all of you, for joining in, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Love all y'all. Peace.